Stories for children, enchanting and heartwarming fairy tales. The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs who decided to go out into the world to seek their fortune and find a home of their own. They packed their tiny bundles, took some food for the journey, and with a loving glance, they said goodbye to their parents. For 3 days and 3 nights, they wandered through forests and meadows, farther than they had ever been from their childhood home. As they walked along, they suddenly heard a magical sound that came closer and closer, and indeed, before them floated a sparkling fairy who promised to grant them 3 wishes. Since they wished for nothing more than a roof over their heads, they asked for 3 houses. The first pig wished for a house made of colourful balloons, soft as a bouncy castle, where it could jump, roll and laugh as much as it wanted. The wish was granted right. The little pig squealed with joy, hopped inside and cried out, "This is the most wonderful house in the world, so soft, so bright. I'll stay here forever." But then the fairy turned to the second little pig. The second pig thought for a moment and then beamed. It loved trains, wheels, and everything that moved. So it wished for a house made of shiny metal with turning gears and tiny steam engines that gently hissed. This wish too was granted. The little pig sat in its new house of iron and cogs, listened to the quiet ticking and hissing of the little machines, and exclaimed, "Everything spins just the way I like it. My very own little marvel. That's exactly what I dreamed of." "And you?" the fairy asked the third pig. The third pig thought carefully. It had a sweet tooth and loved everything sugary. So it wished for a house made of gingerbread, icing, and all kinds of treats. So delicious, one might want to take a bite right away. That wish too was fulfilled. And so the little pig sat happily in its sweet-smelling house. Whenever it got hungry, it simply nibbled a cookie from the wall, which magically reappeared the very next day. The 3 little pigs lived happily for a while in their special houses. But one day a hungry wolf crept through the forest, searching for something to eat. He spotted the balloon house of the first little pig. The wolf thought about how he might get to the pig and suddenly had a brilliant idea. From his coat, he pulled out a giant needle, one he had once stolen from a tailor's workshop. As fate would have it, what had to happen, happened. With a single prick, the balloon house burst and collapsed with a thunderous crash. The little piglet ran as fast as its tiny legs could carry it and reached, in the very last second, the mechanical house of its brother. The wolf was beside himself with rage. Despite all his cunning, the little piglet had slipped through his claws. The piglets were relieved and rocked themselves in the comfort of safety. But the wolf was already forging a new plan. This time he aimed to catch both piglets at once. Just a day later, he returned to the mechanical house, dragging behind him a colossal magnet salvaged from an ancient scrapyard. The house could not withstand the magnet's pull for long. With a deafening roar, seams burst and gears scattered as the wolf unleashed the full force upon the iron weapon. The house crumbled in on itself, and once again the 2 piglets had to flee for their very lives. They seized the few precious seconds after the explosion to get a head start and ran as fast as their little legs could carry them. At the very last second, in desperate need, they fled to their brother's gingerbread house. The wolf boiled with rage. Once again, his prey had slipped through his claws. Even though the sweet little house didn't seem very strong, the piglets felt safe there, for now. But the wolf didn't give up. With a dark grin, he was already hatching a new plan to catch all 3 little pigs at once. Armed with a giant fork and knife he had secretly taken from an old inn, the wolf returned the next day to the gingerbread house. The house didn't stand a chance. The ravenous wolf began devouring the walls and window frames without hesitation. He munched and gobbled the delicious gingerbread house down as if there were no tomorrow. Only after hours of feasting, When not a single crumb was left, did the wolf finally stop. Overstuffed and exhausted, he collapsed to the ground. He had eaten so much he couldn't move a single inch. The three little pigs, overjoyed to have escaped such danger, ran off as far as their tiny legs would carry them. At a safe distance, the three little pigs held each other tight, wrapped in a warm hug, and they knew it's good to be brave, but even better to stick together.
Suddenly, that soft, tinkling sound rang out once more. It came closer and closer, like something out of a dream. Could it be true? Was the kind fairy coming back to make everything right again?
JJAI